it's a segue into something. You can already feel it. Keep playing it. Look at that idiot. Oh God. Can you imagine 2.5 years ago? I had no idea what I was getting into. And now, well, it's pretty much my daily life. And I owe it all to y'all. Hey everybody, my name is Oldskulenerd, and this is a special video. No, it's not a reaction. No, I'm not interviewing anyone. This is a video that I intended to make if one of two things happened. Okay, ready? Number one, if I hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. That has not happened yet, but there are so many amazing people joining our community every day. It's only a matter of time. And the second thing that would cause me to make this video today would be if something momentously amazing happened in this entire journey of my channel. This channel doesn't just exist for me to make awesome nerd t-shirts and have pepper piñatas and I mean, if you look at it, all these different license plates with bands names and all kinds of crazy nerdy stuff and video. No, this channel exists because of all of you and you helping someone special to me in my life. And I was going to make this video if something momentous happened so I could tell all of you thank you again, so all of you could see the amount of goodness and positivity and what you have done for my family. Today's that day. Welcome in. 2.5 years ago, I was a Twitch streamer. It was 2020, and it was just a crazy year. We all went through it. COVID freaked everyone out. And for the next 2 years after that, it just seemed chaos. I was at home. I was working from home like so many of you once we got to about June of 2020. Now, we're going to hit the 3-year anniversary of what I'm about to tell you about in just 1 month. We've come so far in 3 years. Now, this is, of course, 6 months before the YouTube channel started, but to understand why the YouTube channel exists, why all of you exist, and why all of you are so special and important to me every day, we have to take you back to June 2020. On a Tuesday in 2020, as many of you know, I have a fiance named Chelsea, and at the time she was my girlfriend, and she was living here, and I have 3 daughters. My oldest daughter, Megan, you've seen her on Falling in Reverse videos, all my Ronnie Radke reactions. She's part of that. And then you've all met Caroline, my youngest. She's on our D&D streams. She's done multiple reactions with me. She is, if we were a buddy cop movie, she'd be the serious one and I'd be the Will Ferrell, okay? But a lot of you have never seen my third daughter, Amy. And we refer to her as Olivia, is her middle name, and we call her Livy. But all of this would not exist without Olivia. And all the positivity and amazing things that have happened to all of us and all of that and all of you never would have happened if tragedy had not struck her in June of 2020. On a Tuesday in 2020, she woke up with little nervous tics. And I didn't know what to do at first. And within an hour, her little tics became so acute, so progressive, so aggressive. She couldn't walk. She couldn't stand up. She couldn't sleep. Couldn't eat. It was almost like a continuous seizure. They would not stop. We went to the hospital. We talked to doctors. They thought either one of two things. Either she had a brain injury, a brain bleed, a brain infection, because nothing would cause a person to involuntarily have tics on the level that she did. So they sent us to New Orleans, to Children's Hospital, which at the time in June of 2020 was like literally going into COVID war zone level 1. Could you imagine going to a children's hospital in the height of the panic and confusion of COVID? When we didn't really know what was going on, there wasn't really a vaccine yet, and it was scary for everybody. Well, we went there and we saw specialist after specialist, and they ruled out she didn't have a brain bleed, she hadn't had a stroke, she didn't have a virus, she didn't have a bacteria, she didn't have anything that was affecting her physically. But there was one specialist there, and her name was Dr. Rao, and at the time she was the professor of children's pediatric psychiatry at Tulane University. And she was a specialist that came in and discovered and let us know, and she made a diagnosis, and her amazing team gave us answers. And my daughter Olivia suffered an acute sudden onset of Tourette's, so severe she had never seen anything like it before. And she hypothesized that with everything going on with COVID, and at the time, they had canceled school and ended the school year abruptly. Now, at the time, my daughter Olivia was a straight A student. She was finishing up her freshman year of high school. She had started a brand new start over in her life after a very rough early teenage years through different reasons. And she came to live with me, and her life was starting over. It was such a positivity that when COVID took everything away from her, she had a psychotic break. Luckily for all of us, Dr. Rao's amazing team and all the therapists and all the doctors that spent time and trying to figure out what was going on developed mitigation techniques and a medication regimen and counseling and all the things you need. Because in June, when this happened, we realized that we only had 2.5 months to get her ready to go back to school for the fall. Had to go back to school. Now, granted, when we went back to school, it was half in school, half at home, which helped us get her acclimated. But in doing so, there were a lot of the things that were occurring to my daughter that insurance didn't cover, because at the time, this didn't happen to kids very often. And it was a lot of unknowns. And even the stuff that the insurance covered, there were so many things, because remember when I said they thought it might have been a brain injury, that's CTs and MRIs and neurologists, and then they thought it might have been possibly an infection. So here comes the immunologists and the infectious disease people. And we went through so many unknowns trying to figure it out that at the end of it, the medical bill completely took away my life savings to pay for that day. And then all the things following over the next 6 months put me in a significant financial debt. Now, at the time, I was working a full-time job. I'm a network engineer, and I do pretty good, but it was devastating financially. But more importantly, it was devastating emotionally, not just for her, but for all of us. We had to change everything about what we did. She had to follow a strict regimen on diet. By the way, Olivia is also allergic to literally everything: gluten, dairy, eggs, soy, air, water. No, not the last two, but everything else, yes. So we had to change our diets to help her. And because of her condition, we had to change all of our lifestyles. When we woke up, a schedule. The better and more precise and repetitive and predicted the schedule is that we live our lives, the more structured it is for her, because apparently unknowns and sudden changes in things would exacerbate or irritate her condition. So we made all those adjustments. Now, at the time, I was a Twitch streamer. Twitch.tv/OldSkulenNerd already existed. This was before YouTube. And I had 5 people that would come and watch my stream. I had 168 followers on Twitch. I was huge. No, I played Destiny 2 with my friends Anime Zero and Silly Candy and Vlad Crapula and a few of the people that you see every once in a while on Twitch. Those are my oldest friends on social media, by the way. And at the time, I also had to go under some medical care because my stress level and anxiety level was so high. They were worried that I was going to have a heart attack or a stroke because I was so stressed out. For all of you who have ever struggled with a family member who went through a life-altering medical emergency, you know what the cost is monetarily, finances, emotionally, and physically for everyone around that person. And I took all of that weight on me. And my doctor said, if you don't find a way to let go of the anxiety and stress, you will die. And my doctor suggested that I journal and keep a diary. I can't do it. I don't like writing. I don't like typing. I don't like any of that. But I love talking. You guys have seen it. I can ramble like anybody. And so I said I would start making these little vlogs. Well, at the time, I was stuck at home, working at home like most of us did during COVID. And I was watching a lot of YouTube videos. And there were two content creators that I was just absolutely loving. Number one was Noah J456. He is the Call of Duty zombies master, right? Great guy, super young, super awesome, great personality. And at the time he was playing a lot of PUBG, and it was just hilarious to watch him play PUBG because it was just funny to watch. And then I found my first reactor, and the first reactor I ever discovered, some of you have seen the video, was Alex Hefner. And I saw Alex Hefner. I saw, well, man, he's from Texas. He loves canes. He's reacting to all this stuff. And interestingly enough, a lot of you know this already, but at the time, I was out of metal music. I grew up listening to metal music. I love metal music. And then in the early 2000s, late 90s, I got away from metal altogether. I was sick and tired of the radio and record labels and the industry telling me what was good. Remember, this is before the internet really took off and you didn't have YouTube. So the only thing you could listen to was whatever radio said was good. And I was a person that loved Rush and Coheed and Cambria and progressive rock and metal. I love elaborate musicianship and everything else. And that just wasn't what was popular. And it was taking a weird turn and I didn't like it. So I just let it go. And I started getting into folk, funk, jazz. And I went through my classic rock phase, Led Zeppelin, all that stuff like we all do. So I didn't understand metal music at all. About this same time, I'm watching Alex Hefner do these metal reactions, and I'm like, man, that was a pretty good song. That was a pretty good one. A friend of mine said, dude, why don't you do this? I mean, I see you on Twitch all the time. You're hilarious. You come up with all these one-liners. You literally play video games and come up with funny things to say on the fly because you were a stand-up comedian in college, and you can literally come up with anything on the fly. Why don't you do what they're doing? And I'm like, dude, there's no way I can do it. Number one, I have no money to invest in equipment. I have just the crappy camera, crappy lighting, and piece of crap computer that I played WoW on and Destiny 2 while doing on Twitch. I can't make videos. And he said, look, I'm telling you, you would be amazing. Why? Because there's nobody like you. Every reactor's this young person that's all super hype and crazy. We don't have an old guy doing it. And I went, I'm not that old. And they're like, you're pretty old, bro. And so Old School Nerd became the thing. And no kidding, I had no idea what was coming. I had 168 followers on Twitch. All of them were also subscribed to my YouTube channel. So at the time, I had 198 subscribers on YouTube, 198. And I did my first reaction, which was Kill Switch Engage. I did two of them. I did Signal Fire and Holy Diver, the cover. And then I did two reactions to Ginger, which was, of course, Pisces and Who's Going to Be the One. And I had no idea what would happen within a month. Within a month, we got to 7,000 subscribers. And then something incredible happened. People started to get Old School Nerd. They understood that I wasn't a hype reactor. I wasn't someone that was just telling you what you wanted to hear. I wasn't just faking a reaction for clicks. I wasn't clickbaity. If I do a reaction, I've never seen the song before, which means I don't know anything about what's going on, which means if I say something, it's probably going to be wrong or a guess. And it would cause both positive and negative comments and reactions to people, and people just bought into it. Then I met the Nightwish Army, the baby metal audience, the Bandmade audience. And then if those three weren't enough, along comes Sabaton's audience. And it then became this cavalcade of license plates you see. We met so many amazing people like Tommy Johansson and Lauren Babick and the guys from Malevolence and Bloodywood and Ginger, and it just goes on and on. Liliac. We did a prom photo where I made the members of Dragon Force do the prom pose behind each other. And Seven Spires, Visions of Atlantis, Firewind, Violet Orlandi, Halcyon, Lauren Babick, Just Joe Syracuse, and there's some more plates going up on the wall. And so many other bands and people we've met and talked to and interviewed these last 3 years have been incredible. But most important of all, I developed a community of people. People that wanted to know more about me, people that wanted to know what was going on. And at that time, at the beginning of when it started to explode, my entire life came crashing down. It was already rough enough that Olivia was going through what she was going through, but she was getting better. And the Old School Nerd channel was growing. And then in February of 2021, probably the worst day of my life, short of when my father was killed by a drunk driver. That's how rough of a day that was. In February, our school system brought all the kids back to school 5 days a week. Now, before that, it was 1 day on, 1 day off, 1 day at school, 1 day at home. And Olivia was struggling with it, but she was doing okay. Her medicine was working. She was able to mitigate. She was making it through the day with a few tics, but it was okay. And 3 days in a row of being at school every day, I get a phone call from her school. They said my name. Olivia, they said, she's on the floor, unconscious, in the counselor's office. We've called the ambulance. What would you like us to do? I got in my truck. I went to the school, and when I got there, Olivia was unconscious. She just started to wake up. The EMTs were putting her on the gurney, and they said, Olivia, look, here's your dad. And she looked at me with a look I've never seen before. And it was a look of vacancy. And when they put her in the ambulance, the EMT started to assess her. And one of the things that EMTs and medical professionals do to assess a patient is they do the ABCs, of course, and then they do cognitive questions to see what level of consciousness or rationality the patient has. So they're asking her things like, what's your name? And she said her name was Olivia, which confused the EMTs because her ID said Amy, because her first name is Amy and her middle name was Olivia. But when she moved and she started her freshman year of high school was the first time she ever used Amy. But she was saying her name was Olivia. So the EMT was looking at me. I said, it's her middle name. Oh, okay. Because I'm in the ambulance now with her. Who's that person right there? And they were pointing at me. And she goes, I don't know. I don't know who that is. And then they asked her what school she went to. Now, at the time, Olivia was a sophomore at Acadiana High School here in Lafayette, Louisiana. And now she's a senior at Acadiana High School. And she didn't know the name of the school. In fact, she told them the name of the elementary school that she went to when she was 12. That's very important, by the way. So we go to the hospital, and they are running every test imaginable again. And we find out very rapidly that she had what's referred to as a memory ablation. She had a psychotic break. With all the stuff she's been through and everything she had been working on, the stress of going back to school every day of the week caused a break. And she lost, due to a memory ablation, 6 years of her life. All of her experiences, all of her memories, everything she learned, everything. All of her school, everything. Didn't know who I was, didn't know who her sisters were. She knew us, but only based upon what we looked like when she was 12. So I didn't have a beard. She didn't recognize me for 2 days. She didn't recognize her sisters, and thus began a year of Olivia learning who she was again. And during that time, if the medical bills from the first situation weren't enough, the new bills were way bigger. By then, I had no savings, and I was drowning in medical debt. At the same time, this whole YouTube old school nerd thing became monetized. And rather than just ignoring it, I talked about it to all of you, my community, because a lot of you aren't just into me and my videos being hype. You're into the person, what I think about it. And I built these friendships and people who are real people, and they wanted to help. And I would never ask for help. And I just didn't want to ask for help. And then after talking to different community members, those community members started reaching out to other community members saying, hey, listen, Old School Nerd will never ask for help, but he's hurting and we got to help him. Next thing you know, there's a GoFundMe for her and there's all these things. And it has just become incredible. And after a while, a group of my community members say, listen, Old School Nerd, we know you don't want to do this, but we need you to start doing your Twitch stream again and give us a way that we can help donate to Olivia. And I'm like, I can't do it. And they're like, you need to do this. And then I did. What I didn't realize is that this has grown into a movement to help not only my daughter, but so many other people. And let me give you an understanding. Olivia has come so far, and we've been able to pay for most of her medical bills. We've caught up, and now we're just helping her through. And it's because of all of you. There's no way I could have done this without all of you. But in the meantime, something really special happened. We developed a way to help many other people. We've helped a single mom and her son who lost their house, their car, everything to a fire. We've helped out different community members anonymously when they were reaching hard times and they struggled and they wouldn't ask for help. But I found out, and this community, all of you donated as a channel, as a community to those people to help people. We've given money to Grant from Unleash the Archers, his charity to help kids with music. We've given money to just last week, we gave a donation from this channel. All of you, well, it didn't come from me. It came from Old School Nerd, the community, all of you out there, to the Frog Leap Bunny for children in hospitals, a charity that he created to help kids with medical needs in hospitals over in Europe. We gave to that because we're giving back, and we'll continue to give back. That's what this is about. It's about helping others now. And I'm so blessed every day everything all of you have done. Yes, we've met Tommy Johansson. We've met all these amazing people. I've become friends with so many creative, amazing people that I thought I would never get to meet because they're heavy metal musicians and rock stars. I've met so many amazing people from Australia and Europe and Africa and Asia and South America and all over the United States and Canada. And some of my best friends in the world I've never met face to face. And y'all have blessed my family. And today, I want to play something for all of you. This today is because of you. This today is because of all the giving and selflessness that all of you have given me for the last 2.5, almost 3 years. In a month, it'll be the 3-year anniversary of the event that started Olivia's change in her life. And because of all of you, I want to play this right now.
Hi. It's been a little bit since you've last seen me. And I just wanted to come on here and make a short little video saying thank you to all who have really helped me throughout these couple years. And I'm really proud to say that I'm going to be graduating this year. And I'm going to be attending UL, or Louisiana University. And I'm so thankful for all of you who have supported my father and me throughout this whole journey. And I really couldn't have made it to where I am without you guys and my support system. And I think that I am probably one of the luckiest people on this earth right now because I was in such a state of disrepair for so many years, and I had a break and I had to start over, and without you guys there to help my father pay my medical bills and pay for doctor's visits and help me to get where I am today, there is no words in the English dictionary that's gonna describe how I feel and this sense of gratitude I have for all of you out there. It's crazy to even be here in this state where I am and this healthy mindset, and I know that I wish I could be in the chat and see my dad streaming and interact with you all, but it's better if I stay away from social media and that thing, but thank you for respecting my privacy and respecting my father's privacy and my family's privacy. And just thank you for everything that you've all done to help me and my family. And thank you.
Now, I want to tell you guys, I know she looks amazing, and I know it looks like everything is awesome, and she must be doing perfect. I mean, look at and that is, she has come so far. Here's the thing that you guys don't know. That was her 5th attempt. She wound up ticking and having and jerking issues, and her affliction came against her 3 times, and then she was able to get it on the 5th try. So she still has a long way to go. Every day is a struggle, but every day she has victory, and she's thankful every day to all of you. And although because she doesn't have access to social media, because that actually aggravates her condition, without all of you these last 2.5 years, she wouldn't be where she is. I will forever, ever, ever be thankful to all of you every day. I will keep giving back to people. When we gain momentum, when we gather up some funds as a channel, we're going to go find those people in need, like Frogly Bunny trying to give away a guitar to help kids in a hospital, or the next family that loses their house in a fire, or the next person that's facing a serious issue in their life, and they look at me and go, I don't know what to do. What do I do? And I'm like, well, you're a member of this old school nerd family, and you were there for me, and you were there for my kid when we were desperate. We're going to be there for you. I've had that conversation at least 4 times in the last 2 years, where because of all of you, I was able to tell one of you what I just said. All of you were there for my kid when she was desperate in need. And now you're in need. We're going to be there for you. And we've helped people. And we have done that. Not me. This is not, I've always said, Old School Nerd is just an idiot with a beard doing stupid stuff on a camera. Old School Nerd is a community of people that enjoys having fun, touching people's lives, and making a difference where we can. We've given money to veterans. We've given money to people in need. And that's because of all of you. And I just wanted to say thank you. 3 years later, instead of saying my daughter lost 6 years of her life, all of her memories, and there's no way she's going to be able to graduate high school. There's no way she's going to be able to live on her own. She's going to be debilitated all of her life because this condition is going to overwhelm her. Because of all of you, we're able to get her the right counseling, the right medicines, the right care, the right treatments. And we've worked hard. She's graduating high school with honors, and she has a scholarship to the University of Louisiana. There's no way she has that without all of you. My kid has a future because of a bunch of people around the world she has never met. Now, I don't know if my reactions are good. I don't know if they're great. I don't know if anything I do is worth a damn, but I do know one thing. That is pretty freaking awesome. And it's because of all of you, and I will always be thankful to you for that. All right. I love you guys. Love one another. Take care of each other, just like you've taken care of us. We're all stuck on this mud ball together. And we'll see you later. Thank you. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like. It really helps the channel grow. Also, if you want to subscribe, right there. Big thank you to all my Patreons out there. We appreciate everything you do. If you want more content like this video, check them out above. Remember, love one another, take care of each other. We're all stuck on this mud ball together. We'll see you later.